So, if you want to use Linux without ruining your current Windows install, well, you come to the right place. Because today, we're going to be taking a look at a cool Microsoft official tool to run Linux on your Windows computer. And it is called WSL, which stands for Windows Subsystem for Linux. But there's just no GUI support in it. And all you're going to be getting is this boring terminal over here. However, if you are on Windows 11, you have something more exciting, and it is called WSLg. And with WSLg, you can open up Linux-specific applications like GIMP with a start menu, just like it's a native Windows app. So I guess the description that I provided you was enough to understand what WSL is. So let's take a look at how to actually install and set up WSL. So the first step of installing WSL is making sure you have Windows 10 or Windows 11. Or to be more specific, you need to be running Windows 10 version 2004 and up. And there's just no specific version number for Windows 11. And to check what version of Windows you're running, press Windows plus R on your keyboard and type in WinVer in the box over here. Now press enter. And in the window that appears, you should be seeing the version number. And also if you want WSLg, you need Windows 11. And don't worry if you are still on Windows 10. You can upgrade to Windows 11 for completely free if you have system requirements, which most of us don't. And I did make a video a few months ago about installing Windows 11 without the minimum system requirements. But unfortunately, Microsoft announced that there's no guarantee for your computer's health if you install Windows 11 using those methods. So if you can't upgrade to Windows 11, don't worry, because you can achieve somewhat of a similar effect on Windows 10 using WSL2. Which we're also going to be taking a look at how to install and set up in this video. And yeah, if you're still rocking Windows Vista, this will definitely not work. Anyways, the second thing that you want to do is make sure you have virtualization enabled on your PC, which you can do by pressing Ctrl++ plus Escape keys on your keyboard, heading onto the Performance tab, go to CPU, and make sure it says virtualization enabled. Or if it doesn't tell you virtualization is enabled, you need to enable virtualization on your computer, which you can do by shutting your computer off, pressing the power button, and spamming the firmware settings hotkey several times before the system posts in order to get into the BIOS settings. And that hotkey varies depending upon the motherboard you have. And if you don't know your hotkey, make a quick Google search and you'll know. Mine was F10. Either way, once you're in the firmware settings, you gotta use your arrow keys on your keyboard to navigate around and the enter button to select stuff. So now the obvious question is, how to enable virtualization? It also depends upon the motherboard you have, but to be most common, in AMD systems, it will be under CPU and will most likely be called SVM mode. And you want to just set that to on. And in an Intel system, it will be called Intel Virtualization Technology or VT. So just turn it on. And if you don't see the option that I'm telling you, a quick Google search on how to enable virtualization on your particular motherboards would fix the problem. Anyways, once you've done the changes, you just want to save the changes and exit. And the hotkey for saving changes and exiting varies depending upon the motherboard. It most likely is F10. But if you're not sure, you can Google it up. Anyways, once you boot back into your computer, you are ready to install WSL. So let's start with installing WSL2 on Windows 10. So the first step is to open up a command prompt window by going into the start menu, searching up for CMD, right-clicking on the result, clicking on Run as Administrator, and clicking Yes in the user account control prompt. Now you can install WSL by typing in WSL-install onto the terminal and pressing Enter. Now it might take a while to install WSL, but once the process is complete, you need to reboot your computer in order to install WSL properly. So once that's done, it is the perfect time to choose what distro to use. And just in case if you're new to Linux and don't know what a distro is, let me explain. So distros are the various types of Linux distributions. So Linux is not one single operating system. There are multiple distros and flavors like Cinnamon, Mate, Debian, GNOME, and a lot more. But WSL just doesn't support all the distros. So to check what distros are available, type in WSL-L-O onto the terminal. And this is going to display all the distros that are available in WSL. So personally, if you're just starting up, I recommend using the latest version of Ubuntu, because Ubuntu is easy to learn, and Ubuntu is the default distro that is going to be bundled when you install WSL. So if you're okay with Ubuntu, you might as well skip this step. But you might be a pro and want to install your preferred Linux distro. So to do that, there are two ways. Number one is you can install from the terminal using the command WSL-install-d and the distro's name. But sometimes it may not fetch the latest version of the distro that you want to install, which can cause a lot of issues. So the other way of doing it is hopping into the Microsoft Store, searching up the name of the distro that you want to install, and installing the distro as an app. Either way, once the distro is installed, you should see it as an app in the start menu. Just open that app up and follow the on-screen instructions that it provides you in order to finish setting up your distro on WSL2. And yeah, that's how we install WSL2. Now let's take a look at something more crazier on Windows 11, WSLg. So to install WSLg on Windows 11, open up the command prompt window and repeat the same commands that we used on Windows 10 to install WSL2. So once you've installed WSLg, let's take a look at the cool thing that you can do with WSLg, which is using GUI applications just like it's a native Windows app. So let me install GIMP using the apt package manager on terminal using Ubuntu. And look at that! GIMP is now a native Windows app and it's located on the start menu. So if you want somewhat of the same effect on WSL2 on Windows 10, you can use something called XVNC. And installing and setting up XVNC is a really long and tough process, which I can't cover in this video. So I'll just insert the link to a GitHub tutorial by tdcosta100 in the description box below. It is really hard, but once you set it up, it looks pretty darn cool if you ask me. But it just doesn't work for me. So please try this out on your home and comment down below if this feature works for you or not. Or this process is even easier if you use Kali Linux. In Kali Linux, all you gotta do is type in sudo space apt space install space kali -win-kex space -y onto the terminal and press enter. So if you do this on Windows 11, you're gonna get all the pre-built applications that are bundled with Kali Linux into the start menu just like it's a native Windows app. And in Windows 10, if you run the command kex space -win space -s and create a password, you will be presented with an entire Kali Linux desktop, which is just pretty darn cool. And to get out of the desktop environment, you want to press the F8 key on your keyboard to open up the context menu and click on disconnect. And the same command works on Windows 11 as well. So alright guys, that is how we install WSL on Windows 10 and WSLg on Windows 11. So this can be a great way for beginners to learn Linux within Windows, and for programmers to write code more reliably and easily. So I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please leave a like and get subscribed to my channel with notifications set to all so you'll never miss out on any single piece of content that I upload. And also, if you have any queries or any ideas for future upcoming videos, please leave a comment down below. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Goodbye!